New from Oakhurst Studios and Vern Lab Technologies, it's the Battery Daddy Caddy. Get yours today. Available at Walmart for $9.99.
The Battery Daddy Caddy.
Arr! So we got to do a Talk Like a Pirate stream, I think, for one of these episodes.
Arr, need me Battery Daddy Caddy.
Super John, Trash Crab John, and
I need me Vern's batteries.
yeah, they're Oakhurst Vern Lab Studios is the sponsor for today's episode for the Skeleton Crew after show. So everyone check under your chairs after the show and get your free Battery Caddy Daddy.
Oh,
Thanks,
wow.
Vern.
I got a remote.
Yeah.
And I need
After
batteries.
It's got batteries in it, though. We got some people already here. Welcome, Orlando.
What's up, buddy?
Mr. Rex, how you doing, sir? Dave, what's up, Dave?
Dimension, what's up, Dave?
Hey, Shane, fellow Canuck, I believe. So I've seen a couple of reviews after John's unboxing video of that Tomy DeLorean. That's pretty badass, man. But everyone's complaint is it doesn't come with the super magic fog juice.
Yeah, it should have come with some fog juice. Yeah.
It comes with batteries, but it doesn't come with super duper fog juice, which makes that little bit of steam come out the back, right? Interesting. I wonder if you could just use water.
No, I guess not. Well, I didn't want to try it because it's rum.
Steam, isn't it?
Yeah.
In honor of the pirate talk, can I tell you a quick pirate dad joke?
Arr, yes, please.
A guy dressed like a pirate walks into a bar and he's got a steering wheel hanging from his zipper. And the bartender says, "What is that?" And he says, "It's driving me nuts."
All right.
And then I'm getting coaxed into saying, "What's a pirate's favorite letter?"
It can't be the letter R.
It's C.
Followed by R.
Yeah.
Mr. Smee.
Mr. Smee. Yeah, not a lot of SM33 in this episode.
He got took out.
Who's grown to be my favorite character in this series just because of his comedic styling.
I ain't never heard of no at-atting.
And his pirate talk. Like, I like the Brutus character. We see a lot of Brutus in this episode. The Shivzakian Lax Sivrak type creature.
Yeah.
And he talks. I'm liking the way he's talking a lot more now after hearing it a couple more times. But I do wish there was a little pirate emphasis to it. Like,
Jad really sticks it to him, doesn't he?
He does. He gives him a good little.
He gives him a lot of business.
Gives him a little lesson. And he called him. He's like, Brutus is the best first mate.
Yeah.
Piss the guy off.
Wait, isn't he the captain? And you're the prisoner?
Isn't it funny all the rules that they can come up with? Though, wait. We have the first argument. We must honor the first argument.
Yeah, so we got the
pirate
code. I just happen to have a
plasma timer
hourglass right here
with plasma. They doesn't have to turn over. He just pushes the button.
It's the pirate code.
Space.
Hey, but it all worked, didn't it? I thought it was great. It all worked.
Yeah, no, it worked out pretty good. Yeah.
And Bryce Dallas Howard directed this one.
Yep.
Yeah, and every one of her episodes from all the Mandoverse have been pretty well done.
I love how the landscapes look when she directs. It just looks like it goes on forever. It looked very, very Hothish. It was just awesome, man. The kids come out of those tubes and they're just giant. It was great.
What might help with that too is since she's done, I think this is her 5th or 6th, maybe even 7th episode in total. But that means she's had that much time and experience with the stagecraft.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of those other directors, it's like, it's this guy's first time. It's this girl's first time. It's this couple's first show. And so they get introduced and they get the asset of being able to use this stagecraft for whatever scenes they're using them for. But I think at this time, like separate of Filoni and Favreau, she's probably got the most experience, working with this.
And with her father, it's in her genes.
And I watched a couple of reviews today, and they were showing what they thought were all the good callbacks from this, like whether it was Goonies or Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And one of them right away pointed back to the Grinch. And the Grinch had a couple of scenes that they followed back on, like the going down the tube scene.
Oh, yeah.
And they're saying it's her respect to her dad because Opie Cunningham directed Grinch, right?
She was in an interview yesterday, I think it was. I saw somebody was talking to her like on the red carpet for the series or something, and she said that a lot of times during these series, there's just scenes that they'll do to help each other out.
Yeah, I did see that.
And she said that her scenes are actually in all these different shows, and she goes uncredited on some of them because it's kind of just a big collaboration, you know.
So again, like the editing, like that would be on part of the editing and not like So when they pull a clip or a scene and they put it into another episode, assuming it's same location or scenario kind of going on, that's pretty cool, and it's quite interesting because I don't think we would know that unless she was to say that in an interview like she did. So that was pretty cool.
I would have never known.
And I'm a huge fan of her dad. And how could she not be educated in the ways of film and TV storytelling, growing up with her dad, Ron Howard, but getting to hang out with the Fonz and all of these other people that George Lucas, like she was a little kid hanging out with George Lucas when Ron Howard was learning the ropes, so to speak, right? And being an actor in American Graffiti, and it all started for her at a young age. So I'm a huge fan of hers, and combine her with the two guys or the showrunners for Skeleton Crew, I think we got a good match, and I hope we see her again working with these two guys, and maybe it's a film in the future.
Do you think that they're going to go ahead and do an X-Wing show now, because they keep kind of talking about them, and they made sure to let us know that they're the good guys this time, which I appreciated. When the kids are running around, they're like, no, the X-Wings are the good guys. I was like, now that's something we haven't had happen in a while. They haven't explicitly told us what side somebody's on. I loved it.
Good guys and bad guys.
Yeah, so maybe
I
that
definitely think we'll get an announcement at Celebration for at least one movie and at least one or two more Disney Plus shows, because they got to keep up.
Squadron was supposed to be,
they got to keep up with the Disney Plus shows, and I definitely think they will revisit the Rogue Squadron.
I do too. And I think that was the tip of the hat for it right there. Having those.
I'm going to say 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance we see Cara Dune.
But doesn't that just work so much better rather than devoting like whole scenes to the X-Wing guys? It's just a quick flyover and a mention. Like, I like that style of, we're not forgetting the fans. We're not forgetting that we included this before. So I'm just going to give you this quick, line to make sure you know.
Like, but I like it better when they zoom in and they show it's Captain Carson Teva.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but,
the guy that gets in every series.
Yeah.
But yet to have an action figure in any shape or
form.
Like,
he didn't have an action figure. I thought
not yet.
Man, he's got a bust.
I thought he had a Black Series.
He's got a Black Series helmet.
Oh yeah.
And maybe he's got a Funko Pop now.
They're putting him in that elusive hammerhead category.
Yeah,
dude, it's just a shame because he's a Canadian actor, so I got to share the love and support my fellow Canucks.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's also been a staple character in Mando, in Ahsoka, in everything that's taken place in his timeline. He's been there. Like, he's connected with the Rebels crew now, right? When we saw him with Zeb in that one cantina, that was totally cool, and it was like 40 seconds of screen time in a new jacket, a new outfit. So that would be his second action figure, but they haven't made his first one yet. And his X-Wing's different. It's got blue stripes on it instead of red ones.
I hope that they do a series with X-Wing pilots. I don't think they'll call it Rogue or the old, what was the other name they threw out, but I don't think they'll do any of those. But
I think it was called Rogue Squadron. That was the Patty Jenkins film.
Yeah, and then what was the one that the Cara Dune was going to be?
think that's the same one, or
Or
the
was it? I thought it was something else.
Yeah, I thought it had a
Something of
different
the
name
Republic,
too, but
not Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Police, the Republic Police or something. I don't remember.
cops in Star Wars.
yeah,
The
but
Republic Cops.
I would like to see something with X-wing pilots in a squadron doing
Oh hell
some
yeah!
show,
Well, you know, they had them in Mando and everything else, so we knew they were coming. It's just things got messed up, but now it feels like they're continuing having them in everything. So it's like that little wink, like, yes, we're getting
Yeah,
to it.
Ricardo's got it.
Because like you said, Rick, they got to keep doing content. You know,
That's
for
what it
Rangers
was.
of the Republic. That's the word.
Rangers. Yeah, that's it.
And it would be a head like Carson Teva would be one of the main characters in that show, but for sure he would be one of the main characters in any new show they did that's roughly based on the same scenario, whether it's, and I would still think that the Patty Jenkins would get a shot. It's just a shame that so many of these projects we've been hearing about for several years.
Yeah.
Like several years. It's just like people have been dying off like in real life and stuff, like and that's on the shows that aren't delayed, like Ahsoka, and they're still losing actors. So yeah, it'd be a shame if none of these, like if they've announced 5 different things over the past 3 to 5 years and none of them get made, like Taika Waititi Star Wars, the guy who did the Rogue One,
Ryan Johnson's
trilogy. Promised a trilogy too. Like,
yeah,
it would just be a shame if none of that fell through. Because I've said this before, I think when they make deals like that, they get paid. You know, like
they've got to get something
involved. Like, otherwise there would be no announcements or Deadline Hollywood wouldn't be reporting it if no money exchanged hands. Like, they're not just shaking hands and winking. Yeah, we got a deal, right?
Right.
I think you really gotta make a deal. But of all those shows that haven't been made yet, what's your most wanted?
Most wanted.
I think the squadron stuff. I just want to see from either side. I either want to see like an Imperial squadron of TIE fighters, like dealing with the rebels, or do a show of X-wing pilots dealing with whatever they're dealing with, the emergence of the First Order, or you know what I mean, like something on the outer rim that's bothering them. You know, I don't know. It'd be pretty cool.
I'd like to see
something.
Rebels for the period where Darth Maul was back in there. That'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a whole bunch of familiar characters there, plus new characters.
Yeah.
Live action.
I also like the X-Wing idea because it's like a military. So you got to, so almost like World War II airplane kind of.
Yeah.
So you do have a theme. Like those are some great shows like Band of Brothers and a lot of those military shows where they have 12 1-hour-long episodes with, B-wing bombers and like war and all this stuff going on. Hundreds of actors, a lot of big name actors. And yet it's cheaper than making The Acolyte.
Yeah.
Which ended up being like, 3 hours total? And those Band of Brothers, every one of those episodes is like an hour long, like, right? And there's 8 or 10 of them, or even 12. Like they work on those over.
I thought Tony Gilroy had said it was like 20 plus hours total.
Well, Andor's in its own category.
They do like hour plus times how many episodes? 20 episodes or whatever.
I don't think Andor had any 24-minute episodes, from my recollection.
Yeah, no,
they were all pushing 40 minutes, or there was definitely a couple that were like an hour, close to being an hour long.
Yeah.
And it helps
the thing
because it's a little slower storytelling, so that it doesn't move. It's not real fast paced. So you don't notice it because you relax a little more and you pay attention to the dialogue, and you in your head you're trying to figure, what's going on here. When Skeleton Crew, it's a lot of fun. It's a little more. The past 2 episodes definitely been a lot more fast paced.
Yeah.
So, and we're
but
getting
I think speaking for like the future of Star Wars, like I kind of would like to see them bring in some some people from outside the pool. Like it feels like we keep getting similar. I mean, yes, some of these people it's their first time directing an episode, but I still feel like they're doing it in the same way. Like they're taking direction from some like story group or some group of people that are all the same people for each of these shows.
Yeah.
Because they kind of feel,
except Andor, I think it seems like they get a different
yeah,
crew.
yeah, Andor's different, yeah, but maybe that's what I'm getting at is like because like I look at stuff like you said, Band of Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not bring in those writers and directors to do Star Wars?
Well, I believe that was Ron Howard.
Do you know what I mean? Okay, was it? Yeah.
If he didn't do Band of Brothers, he did one of the other ones, which is like the sequel to Band of Brothers, like because the same production company made 3 different shows, I believe, and one was Ron Howard, another one was another famous filmmaker. So, but in a way, they kind of are.
Because I look at it like this, I'm like, you know, if like a war story genre of film was popular and did really well, why not get those people to do a science fiction show in a war fashion? It's almost like when they reskin a game. You know what I mean? Like they were like, oh, like Battlefield was extremely popular, very well done, the well received by all the people playing it. So let's reskin it and call it Battlefront, and it's Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're the same games.
Kind of like they're scaling they're like scaling the Disney Plus shows to look like a TV show, but then you have that anomaly of like Andor where it's scaled to look like a cinematic film. And I feel like they should scale it that way. That's how it should look. You know, I feel like some parts of Ahsoka look that way and others look smaller. But then like there's a show like The Jackal that just started last night. It looks cinematic on regular television, and it's a great way to film things. You don't need all these close-ups of everything.
Cinematic as well. Like it seemed it's again a very dark series from start to finish.
Yeah,
much like even when I pull up these thumbnails of this episode, a lot of the Star Wars shows have been dark, and I don't know if that's just to hide the stagecraft and the seams.
It could be,
you know, the blue screen, or
I feel like this show is more cinematic, with a cool look.
It's more cinematic than Ahsoka and the Acolyte. The Acolyte and Ahsoka, you could see like the edge of the stagecraft sometimes, like where the screen ended, you know, and they had to like stretch it out in Photoshop a little bit.
There was a lot of people complaining about this week's episode, but I'm loving it, man. I
thought this was neat with the tubes because I was like, it's very much Goonies. Because
very much,
you know how they started on one water slide and somehow they all got split up in Goonies and came out different holes. That's what happened here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they all came out different tubes
and somehow
as well.
got split up and came out different tubes.
Yeah.
The tubes are almost in the same spot as the Goonies tubes. So
I'm assuming that this is 100% CGI, but I like that better than 100% stagecraft. You know what I mean?
This looked really good, though.
It does look really good.
That looks really good.
They had a set for the part where they landed.
Yeah.
No, for sure. But I mean, the kids falling out of these tubes, they're not real like kids or stunt people. They're it's CGI
just done really well.
Yeah. Like can't pay stunt kids $1 million.
No.
Here, kids, we'll just drop you. It's fine. And this is what happens. KB dies, just as I predicted.
She's Lobot's long lost niece.
Yeah,
she very much is like Lobot, right?
She needed her batteries changed.
Yeah. So that's like that's another throwback, you know, Lobot, and she's got that, you know, reading rainbow thing going on, and then what was he in Star Trek?
Geordi.
But Geordi, yeah.
Yeah, Geordi, but it's very much Lobot technology. You know, it's
a lot like Lobot because like when Wynn has to like change the fuse in the back of her head, they're like pulling out like cybernetic, you know, she's
where her, it's basically where her brain should be.
You know.
Exactly.
It was
So she is
yeah.
at least 39% robot.
Yeah.
Mod, if they
Yeah.
that
Her
mod term was
augmentations.
brought up again, right?
So she must have. What's interesting to me is that does that mean that as a small child she had some kind of accident that otherwise would have killed her?
Or a birth defect, maybe, or
Yeah. maybe a
They
birth
did
defect.
refer to an accident in this episode.
and she said augmentations, so
Hmm.
she,
So whatever the accident was, somehow
yeah.
the resolvation of that accident was to get modded.
And what did she tell her? She didn't want to admit there's things she cannot do.
Yeah, it went
That was pretty cool.
because we kind of saw that dynamic of the four kids kind of
Yeah.
break up into two groups that they're not familiar with, and that was the big push for this episode, was showing how these kids could break apart. Like the two best friends girls here, they kind of had a little tiff because KB didn't want to really admit to her weakness, like she's couldn't climb that wall.
Right.
Like
and when I
wasn't
found
able
this remote, you know what it made me think of?
to.
You should not have come here.
Yeah.
I love that stuff, man. Yeah.
Well, only a couple
Although
of
I don't think
locations.
Little Blue Elephant would have gone with
no,
what's her face though, because
no,
he's always been so loyal to
to his buddy. Yeah.
his buddy that I just thought it was a little out of character for him to want to leave and climb the thing.
Kenobi definitely had some good cinematic scenes, but I do think the majority of it was not cinematic.
There was a lot of stage on that.
It was all the stagecraft, and that was partly why it's one of my lower tiered.
It just wasn't very
Star Wars
consistent
shows.
when it did go cinematic. It's kind of the same fate that I think Acolyte
Hey,
suffered.
Prophet. Yeah, I think we all-
Sometimes you have these great cinematic scenes, and other times you're like so boxed in.
I think we all liked this episode, especially when Captain Silvo came out and all of his Mr. T jewelry.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. And I thought that Urkel bit the dust in the acid bath.
I thought he did too, because when I watched my second replay last week with the closed captioning on, just to catch things, it said, Space Captain Urkel or whatever,
Right.
like, oh damn you, Jod, or so he was like screaming and complaining. But yeah, he lived. So did any pirates die?
Yeah,
And again,
We don't know which ones, if they did.
we saw both of those pirate ships kind of get shot down out of the sky, but one of them made
one
it back.
got shot down, the other one just got
And
shot.
you know the one
Yeah,
pirate,
it did make it back home. Like it was
the one
sputtering.
pirate with all the little bony protrusions on his face, he's been in, this is like his third series now, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was in the Mando.
Mando,
Yeah.
and was he an Acolyte as well?
He's a Klaatuian, yes.
Yeah, I think this is like his third series, so he's been
Yeah.
consistent.
Maybe the Book of Boba Fett and Mando.
Something, yeah. He's been around.
Yeah,
so we
he's
got
been in 3 of them.
We got a Mon Calamari here.
Yeah.
We got some other weird looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the freaking
from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul as well.
Yep.
I don't know what this is, but
yeah, that's like giant pus bubble thing.
there's no room for this in Star Wars, so we can just erase her. Then we got little beak face lady, whoever that is. Beaker. Meep meep meep.
Meep, meep.
There he is.
There he is. Did I do that?
And there was a good line here. She's like, "Oh, you can see it with your own eye."
Yeah.
That's what I did. I would have thought that they'd be like, "Whoa, look at all the treasure you have." Yeah,
exactly.
Let's go down and get it.
Like say, let's go get some of that. Let's pick it up before we leave.
Well, because I think they were not under investigation, but being held by the space pirates too. Like,
and isn't it sort of like a whole claim thing? So the people there would have claim to it first, or something with the pirate rules or whatever.
Yeah, he just comes.
Now that they left, the people on the planet,
they're going to go down there and pick it up.
Down there and get all the stuff, Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. There's no aliens in the Andor prison, and then this series here, Skeleton Crew on this planet, I've only seen one astromech droid hanging out here by the spaceships when the kids first landed there.
Yeah.
But other than that, all the droids are all like on the ground in a dump. So there's no security droids or like waiter droids walking around that I noticed, even after 2 watches. So this planet and at Akron seem to be droidless.
Akron, Ohio.
Which is interesting to see droidless planets.
Well,
At
Akron
Akron,
has a whole
Ohio.
security force that's all droids.
What was that girl's name? The bounty hunter right there. A lot of people like her.
Not Cookie, Pocket.
Yeah, a lot of people want her to come back around.
And I knew after last week, I'm like, yeah, we'll see her again. She's a fairly big name actress.
Yeah.
She's got a good look. She's a bounty hunter. There's always room for
what did he say? No hard feelings? I was like, yeah, she's coming back.
And then she gave him a kiss in this one.
Yeah.
Pocket.
He's a scoundrel, man.
Yeah, we need a bunch of Black Series pirates for sure. This show's definitely heavy action figure.
Oh, for sure. And the ships, especially when you got the ship that can like undo itself and all that crap.
Come apart.
Yeah,
that was really weird.
So is that going to be the next Transformer? Jeez.
But I gotta say, I mean, we're not there yet, but I liked it after it shed its skin.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It had a very cool look.
Yeah.
And yeah, we see a couple X-Wings show up to, fight off these pirates. And you can see these smaller pirate ships are not that big.
Yeah.
They're just a little bit bigger than the X-Wings here. So they're not big like the Onyx Cinder.
Yeah.
And here's where we get the kids kind of having a little bit of an argument. They're like, well, KB can't climb the mountain.
KB Toys.
And that's kind of we get our first look at the little spider robots, crab bots.
The kid was like, no, they're telling us it's safe, or whatever. But I'm thinking, no, they're probably just mimicking what you're saying,
Yeah. Follow.
Yeah. Danger. Will Robinson.
But yeah, so we got this. Now we got 2 new teams of kids. We got Win and KB, and then Fern and Neil are going to go climb a mountain. And then it took a couple of good screen grabs of Pirate Captain Brutus, but just because he's freaking badass looking.
Yeah.
And we get to see some of the other scoundrels in the background. So yeah, we got a couple of neat.
I'm kind of hoping that I'm kind of hoping that we get a season 2, and I'm hoping that he turns around and is in it because I like him.
Well, if not a season 2, which is looking positive because the show is,
or they jump into the movie or whatever. But
yeah, I think we'll see some
I
of the
hope
characters
that he's
in the
part of
movie
it. I like him
because I think they're kind of making that movie now, so it'd be easy to pull someone in.
Exactly.
But because the show's doing quite well, and I think since Andor, it's their most popular series, I think it's going to get greenlit for second season.
I don't see why I wouldn't.
I don't either. I really
don't. As long
don't.
as they keep it on this level, it's fun, man. It's just a fun romp,
Even the ones that they say they've canceled, like Acolyte, I still think they should move forward with a season 2. Just do it on a lesser.
You know what? They could always have different directors, different writers. They're going to do whatever they're going to do. There was some good ideas in there.
So really good looking costume. I'm really digging Brutus.
I just think this is one of those shows where all the different story elements really make sense and come together in a great way.
I agree. Yeah. And so Jod is, bragging about, what he found, and doesn't say he found like, a coin printing machine, so to speak, but he said unlimited.
That was different too when he said where they actually make the credits. I was like, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. The great work could be great work. That they have a mint. They need some type of resource, and then they can mint the credits in order to fund, whatever it is they're going to fund. That's the great work. I didn't think of that until he said
that is what I believe the great work is. It's not
when he said this is where they make it. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. It's not where they store it.
This money on.
It's not where they store it. It's where they make it. It's a mint. I was like, oh, I didn't think of that.
But what is the supervisor of AT-AT and spending this money on? Is it the Emperor's new
Yeah.
flagships. You know,
I think the
there's gonna be something
supervisor's
bad.
just making sure it gets made so they can get it to the right
Yeah.
place.
So we got Walrus Man with 2 eyes, because we've seen him now with 4 eyes. There's 2 different kinds of
Mhm.
Snaggletooths or
Aqualish.
Walrus Men. We got a Bosk looking kind of guy.
Yep.
We got this is Marcel here with the long hair, and then here's that familiar Nico pirate we've seen in the Mandoverse.
We had 2 squid heads, a Rees, and an Ishy Tib.
Yeah, I like the Rees with the 1 eye patch. I think that's pretty clever.
Yeah.
And this chick's pretty cool. I recognize her. I don't know what from, but I'm sure she
played a similar soldier type in Thor Love what was it? Ragnarok.
Oh, okay.
She was on the planet with the collector guy, whatever he was, that the Grand Master guy who was
Jeff Goldblum.
She had that pokey thing that dissolved people.
Oh yeah, okay. And I think she might be one of the. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe she was one of the time police in Loki too.
Was she? Yeah, maybe.
Maybe, man. Just because I remember there's a couple of thick chicks.
But she's been in Marvel. She was in Marvel stuff there.
It's my favorite kind, Rick.
Here's Jod getting his face smushed up against the window.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
And he's like, I taught Leia how to do this. I can do this.
Yeah, he's gonna throw him out the
He's like, you can't hurt me. I taught Leia how to do this. You know what's cool though? When somebody in the comments there said we don't need a second season, you may not need it, but you're probably going to get it. But one thing that I thought was really cool is you think about the backstory here with the great work, and it's sort of Jod's sort of trail to follow, right? Well, even after you figure that out, even though you know what the cause is that it's funding, now that becomes the backdrop for the kids, so it can become kind of like Stranger Things. Now you can see the kids kind of grow up having to deal with the fallout of finding out this great secret, and they could have all kinds of different adventures going forward. I could see 4 or 5 seasons with the kids because they're little kids right now.
These
and
kids
as they grow,
are in Star Wars for life now.
As they grow and as the trunk extends, they can do other stuff before he becomes a drunk keyboard player at Jabba's
as the
palace.
blue trunk grows.
I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could come out of this show because Jod can go his way and end up in Mando, and the kids can go over here and do.
No, I agree, especially with brand new characters.
They could even have it where the kids, in the future, where they try to sabotage it. Maybe, it could be a lot of cool stuff come out of this.
Yeah, like Wynn goes all gangster and gets a bunch of.
Or one of them joins the academy and gets
joins
into
the Mos Vespa speeder bike gang.
Yeah.
But yeah, she looks like she did have some stormtrooper, clone trooper type of armor, reused.
Six boy got you.
Yeah, I was what? How many? I saw 0 hammerheads in this episode, so
yeah.
I won't take any points away though.
Well, they had the one in the first episode, right?
Well, they had him in every episode.
Walking the little dog.
Every episode, but this one.
When Wim was running up the street, he ran into her.
So this makes up for no hammerheads. This cool looking droid.
Yeah,
it's new. I hadn't seen it before. It had some kind of baby crab crawl over its eye.
Inside of it, yeah.
They got the eye tubes, kind of like a sand person.
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of
a lot of throwback there. A lot of throwbacks.
Well, yeah. Here's the inside of KB's head, where, like, we all have fuses in our head, right?
Yeah, it looks like a Radio Shack version.
Yeah.
So he
had to literally melt right there, and make the fuse, and then put it in. And she's just able to tell him the last step before she's gone.
Yeah, she kind of like, like her phone died basically.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because we've seen characters modified, right? Like Fennec Shand and Cobb Vanth and whatever else. Whatever the characters in the Mandoverse got these modifications, like kind of like getting a tattoo. But for her, we get a little more of what it is. Other than that, what we've seen them reprogram C-3PO's head and Babu Frickett, right? So Babu Frick could work on her as well.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And I thought this was kind of neat too. Like she put it in the sand to make like a little steel mold, and he dumped it in there. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, it's the basics. I watched Lack's video, and he's like, oh, you can't just melt wire and do that. And I'm like, it's Star Wars, man. It's not real. You can do that. But yeah, here's the other two kids climbing the mountain, which happens to have a ladder on it. That's handy. If all four kids knew there was a ladder, do you think they would have just
You
climbed
see it
it?
join me?
Hey,
He wanted to say something to you guys.
who's that? AI? Oh, it's Babu.
He's here.
Hey. Oh, I thought it was Super John saying that.
He showed up.
Yeah, Cobb was getting enhanced the last time we saw him.
That's what his wife said.
Cha-ching. But we haven't seen the new Robo Vance. But we will. Of course we will. He's a big name. He's the best Western actor in the whole Mandoverse, so we need him.
That was such a cool way to introduce him too.
Yeah, crabs can talk now. Yeah, like having the Boba Fett armor.
Yeah, that was so cool because you didn't know. At that point, you're like, oh man, is that going to be him? You know?
Which, will he still have the Cobb Vanth armor when he's Robo Vanth?
Probably.
So here we have the R5D5 head crab.
Oh yeah.
And I just had to pause it just at the right time to catch this because it was fast. Crab droids. But yeah, so here, can you see my cursor? Here's a Jedi training remote.
Oh, okay.
Here's like an R2D2 kind of head down here.
And we have the foot. There was a 3PO foot.
Yeah,
the
upside down C3PO foot was classic. I don't know if I got that one though. But yeah, so they're following all these baby crabs, and there's Big Mama Crab. And what was cool about this is a stop motion puppet by Phil Tippett.
Yeah.
Which we need this. We need, if we're gonna have a big space creature in every Star Wars series, which we have so far.
We're supposed to be. Yeah, that's part of Star Wars.
Have Phil Tippett make them, please. Thank you. He is the master at this.
Was that Phil Tippett?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
They did a stop motion monster on this.
That's
and
awesome.
it did a big yell and it like blew the kid's hair back. And we see that in so many.
And he said, I'm Bendu.
Yeah.
But here's our Stormtrooper head crab.
Oh yeah.
Where we got the
Man, I missed a lot of those
over here.
Well, you said something about the Jedi training ball and stuff. I missed a lot of that stuff.
Well, there's another training ball over here. It's because you got to pause it like this. Look at it. It's a cool crab. Like you can see its eyes and you know what they are. This kind of looks like Bob from Black Hole or Vincent. But yeah, just silly little Easter eggs. There's another Jedi training remote up here. So yeah, this is like a graveyard for they dumped all the robots, which they don't really use on this planet, apparently. But yeah, very cool to see some Phil Tippett stop motion, which I wish they did that with the Jabba the Hutt character last week. And now we have space tugboats.
Yeah.
Space tugging. What? They're just throwing it in a dumpster. Like they're just throwing it away. So
and then they have the Toy Story 3 trash compactor.
Basically, like they didn't go in it and try to take any valuables out of it. Let's just go dump it.
Yeah.
But I wonder, is that the pirates doing the dumping or?
No, it was the people up top.
Because the people
they're just more of like, get rid of this stuff, you know.
And we just got a good group hug here as all the kids get back together. Black. And yeah, here we have the the trash compactor in Skeleton Crew kind of,
Yeah.
Crunchy thing.
which is pretty cool. And I didn't see this coming. I mentioned in the weeks past that we have seen what looks like the Onyx Cinder get blown up in the trailer, in one of the trailers,
Yeah.
right? Which is kind of parts of this, like of different angles. You see explosions going on. It looks like it's blowing up. And then when they, like it.
Well, when you saw the claw like go through the hole, you're like, "Oh
Yeah,
crap, they're done
Yeah.
now."
Like it's
looks
done.
like that's enough. But Wynn's still up here in the little gun turret. Like, hey, I'll save us.
I keep forgetting.
Pretty cool.
I keep forgetting that the cockpit, the place where you drive the ship from, is on the side. Because when they were crunching the front, I was going, "Oh no, it's right in front of them." It's
right.
Because I keep thinking they're in the front of the ship, but they're not. They're in the
And
middle.
A little Mustafar vibe going with all the fire.
I think they're right here.
Yeah, they're in the middle off to the side.
Yeah,
because this is the front of the ship that's getting crunched.
Yeah,
because they're backing up out of the parking spot, right?
Yep.
And then they pulled it out like a $5 footlong, man.
They really did. It's like I'm just gonna take the wiener out and leave the bun behind.
It had a nice Battlestar Galactica feel to it when it came out.
A little bit. It kind of has that look too.
A little bit.
And then I don't remember what this button was called, but it was called like the button that you don't push button kind of button.
Yeah, the button you don't push button.
Ever.
Yeah, well, he said in an earlier episode it'll blow our secondary hull off.
Yeah, remember? Pocket mentioned taking a bath in some back to last episode. So it's a pleasure thing too, I guess, right? What up? AP Slayer, welcome. I agree. I like the stop motion. I like the practical effects and the real life masks and costumes on, like, so far, like every one of those pirates is like a dude or a woman in a costume, and that's fantastic. Like that's acting. Like, sure, George introduced CGI characters, but I mean, Jar Jar was at least based on a man's, character and his being and the way he acted and moved and talked. So it was roughly based on, or not more than roughly, it was totally based on Ahmed Best, and we accepted that. But I think at this point, when we have this droid of SM-33, who is a practical effect, like it's a dude standing behind him, moving his arms and his head.
Say I never heard of no Canada.
and Nick Frost doing the wicked R.
Can't say I never heard of no Canada.
But yeah, she did it. She pushed the button of no return. And what did you think was going to happen? I thought they were going to just go to light speed.
I thought it was just going to blast them out of there. But when I saw that hook go through the hole, I thought,
I was like, are they going to go? Can you go to light speed backwards? And does that take you backwards in time?
But then when it showed all the charges going off, I thought, what the hell?
Yeah, I know.
He said that earlier episode. He was like, that'll blow the secondary hull off.
Yeah, he did say something like that.
And I didn't know what he meant.
Yeah. But I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was like this, where once you blew that hull off, you were going to have a Darth Maul speeder ship.
It did look a lot like the Sith Infiltrator, right?
Sith Infiltrator. There you go. Yeah.
Sith Infiltrator ship.
So the way I see it, it's a mix between, just another cool shot of the kids actually literally flying the ship by themselves now. That's pretty fun. Yeah. And you can tell they're happy. And
they tell Neil, no, you're going to pilot. He's like, what the hell?
He did it before.
It's like, I guess this is reverse.
But yeah, this ship, I think, is a good mix between the Darth Maul Infiltrator, I think it was called.
Yeah, a little bit of the Rogue One.
And a little bit of that
the U-Wing, a little bit.
U-Wings. A little bit of Lutheran's ship and Andor.
Yeah.
It was kind of glamorous looking, because this looks a lot.
A little bit of X-Wing there.
And it was thick and chunky, kind of like a Razor Crest.
Yeah.
So, like, I wonder if it's all the same manufacturer, But yeah, cool, man. So now 2 vehicles.
So what
we'll never get.
That'll be your next backing project.
What got me about this was that, does that mean that the pirate, the guy, the famous pirate guy, like that ship is the ship?
Yeah.
And then what he did is he built on this exterior hull that was his
To-
design
to
and added
camouflage
the extra engines onto it on
Yeah.
the front that spun around. And it's like,
Hey,
so he made a whole new,
what's
made up
what's
this
the
whole
biggest
new.
mystery there then that we need to have solved to like satisfy us? Would it be what the great work is, or how the onyx cinder was landed there and left intact?
I don't
The
think that
Onyx
part
Cinder.
matters now. Like the Onyx Cinder part, like we're
Well,
heavily into that story now. We've learned a lot.
Because wouldn't you think that the supervisor is going to be the captain of it, right?
Yeah, he's going to be
And
the
it very
captain.
well could be the girl's mom.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I don't think it's the old ship captain.
No.
I just don't.
Well, it's not going to be anybody old, because it'll be interesting when Jod comes face to face with them. He'll be like, "Hey,
because what would
I got multiple identities, so do you."
What would an old Weequay have?
Or it's Wim's dad.
Connection to Thrawn or the Emperor. Like, I just don't see that in him making money for the Empire or the first order, because that's what it'll be called.
Well, right? I don't think he is.
I think it has to be Wim's mom or a freaking droid.
I think what happened is the reason he never went back into the real world was because if he realized he could take over and be the most important person on this planet and live like a king.
Yeah.
I don't think
there's not a lot of residents there.
I don't think Weequays outlive humans.
Only by about a week.
I don't know the rules, but they're not like Yoda. They
yeah.
I think they age more like humans, in my opinion. Like, in my Star Wars encyclopedia in my head, I don't think Weequays can be hundreds of years old. And I don't think Brutuses can be either. But I don't know. They haven't made that part canon yet. Like,
right.
Maybe if you look up in Wikipedia, it tells you Weequays live to be 99 years old.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out in the last couple episodes here.
We better.
What's the rumor about a Jedi Master, a female Jedi Master or something? People were messaging me this today. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's going to be some of that, and I'm like, man, they only got 2 episodes. They got to decide what part of that they're going to tell us, but that could all be just misleading info.
Okay, what I think you're talking about is there is like an IMDb listing for an actress who plays someone Nana Wood.
Nana Wood, yes.
It's a female person, so people are saying, "Oh, that must be Jod's mom."
Because he's Nawood, right?
And it's most likely a flashback, right?
Because
she's not a 9-year-old lady.
Maybe that would explain how he has some force sensitivity and things like that, right?
And it would make sense that we do get a little more Jod, like a little bit of his histories, because we've got Win and Neil, actually. So we have got a good Neil episode. So we learned a lot. He became brave. He seemed
very reluctant when he got that saber hilt in his hand too. Like, he was just shaking his head, like, "Man, I don't want to mess with this thing."
Wim, you mean the little kid?
No, when Jod when he took it from him.
Oh, I saw his eyes like go.
Yeah, but he was kind of
lit it up. He went.
But when he took it into his hand, he was kind of like, man. He put it under his belt or on his belt, and he was just like, I don't want to do this again. Like,
okay, here's a question for both of you guys.
Maybe
Where is that lightsaber right? Where is that lightsaber right now?
I know, yeah. Like, why wouldn't you have used it against the pirates if you climbed out with it?
Because I'm sure if the pirates took it, they would have showed it to us or something.
Yeah. Maybe he left it down there.
They showed Brutus with a knife at one point. He took a knife and put it aside. And I don't know, but it looked like that knife Jod had, but maybe it wasn't. So maybe he shoved the lightsaber up his woohoo to hide it.
His prison pouch.
But yeah, we had a good Neil-centric episode. We had a little bit of Wim last week where he was kind of crying to Jod. And then this week we got KB. And we learned a little bit about KB. So I think we still got more to learn about Jod for sure. And who he really is, if that's his real name or not, or if it's Dang Ferrick. Or
did the pirates show Brutus the lightsaber?
I didn't. I watched it twice. I didn't see that.
I don't recall that. It's inside 33. It could be.
And because Jod pulled out the credit. So they obviously didn't search him.
No, he puts that in his prison
He's
pocket.
got money in his pockets that they're all
And he
like.
keeps. It's funny that like every time we think he's used all those credits, he keeps
still
coming up
pulls
with
one out.
more. So he's probably still got like 30.
You
or
could
40
probably
of those
pull one out
credits
from
on.
behind your ear.
He's still got credits on him. He's got more than that one.
In a space ginch.
They
Inside
grabbed it.
33. Interesting. Because now 33 is a prisoner as well to those pirates, right?
Yeah, they dragged him off.
Dragging him.
Yeah, they brought him. They said bring the
Interesting.
droid.
Yeah, so I think that's a good theory right there, that lightsaber is inside the droid.
Can't say I've never heard of no eBay.
Can't say I've never had a lightsaber inside me before. Yeah, I think you got it, Prophet. I think they grabbed it when they took his treasure. Interesting. Okay. Will I watch it?
Yeah, you would have thought with everything that he found down there, when he was trying to tell them, they would have went and collected what they found, brought it back to Brutus to say, "Hey, check this out."
There's still a couple of scenes from earlier trailers. There's one scene that shows Jod about to walk up the board ramp of the Onyx Cinder, and he's got the lightsaber like on his belt. You can clearly see it with the kids behind him. So I don't know when that scene takes place, because the kids have left that planet, and it looked like it was on that planet. So I wonder. They would
return, maybe.
If that's a fake scene in a trailer that was just edited out,
or they would return.
Could they return? I don't know.
But it just occurred to me that the reason the pirates didn't go down and get that treasure is because while they were loading the droid and Jod Nod on the ship, the X-Wings showed up. Because they were like, scramble, get to the ship, let's get out of here. And then they took off and the X-Wing shot one of them down,
And we did see them leave. We did see the pirates leave with Jod, and I'm assuming Smeek, because they went back to that, which was new to me. Like, it wasn't that asteroid.
The orbiting space station type thing.
It was another space station.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me was new.
It's kind of like their hideout.
Yeah, that wasn't that same asteroid they were at before.
No.
Where the kids went to. And the subtitles didn't say what that location was. And sometimes they do say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so not a lot of answers in this episode, but a couple. Like I said, we learned about KB and what her health issue was, kind of like. Hopefully we learned what the accident was.
I think things went a lot further with the kids' relationship amongst each other in this episode.
Yeah.
For sure. Did he leave his own stream?
I think he got kicked. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, overall, I just think it was a pretty good episode. I did too.
I did too.
It shows.
I mean, when they tell you you've only got 8 episodes and they're only like 26 minutes long, it is frustrating that you don't get more information for the end goal. But I think the craftsmanship of this series is pretty well done to where it's going to make sense in these next 2 episodes. I guess my only complaint is the length of the episodes. Even back with Mandalorian, like middle of season 2, when they were doing like 28-minute episodes, you're going, what? You'd like to see an hour, but at least 40 to 45 minutes would be way better.
Yeah, the thing is that if there's 8 episodes that are a half hour each, I don't care if they had just done like 5 episodes. Who cares?
Yeah.
Call it a mini series then instead of a series.
Right.
And
I was saying
give us 5-hour-long episodes.
Give us do kind of a Netflix hybrid where the first episode, instead of giving us the 2, give us the first 6, and then make us wait like 30 days for the finale. But make your finales like 2 hours long each, like 2 parts,
or something like that. Yeah.
Then you get a 2-hour part 1 and a 2-hour part 2, or an hour and a half, whatever. And then it's like a really big event, I don't understand how they can claim like such high budgeting for some of these when you know they're being done on the stage with that new system they have set up with the screen all the way around them. It's like, you could definitely do a Goonies type thing where they're in a cave system of a planet of a star, something like that, an adventurous thing that looked great, that could take a half an hour of time, and do some stuff with the owl cat. That was pretty cool. And I really liked the computers and stuff they were using in those episodes. It had a very Star Wars look to me, a very original trilogy, really basic old school look. It didn't look like an Acolyte when they're holding iPads with like 3D printed frames around them. It's like, come on, guys, that's not. And then the metal detector and all that. It's like, no, that's not Star Wars, guys. So I really think they're hitting on a lot of good cylinders in this series.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it is frustrating that it's so short and you're not getting a lot of super good answers, but 2 more to go. I'm loving it, man. I give this one high 7s out of 10, for sure. And it's the one show, because I think there even was some inconsistency in the later seasons of Mandalorian. And this is one show where each episode builds on the previous and really gets me excited to see what's coming next. So,
yeah. It's definitely been going up when like if you're gonna rate it out of 10, I think with each episode adding to the story, my overall rating of the whole show keeps going up. So it's really been doing good.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to see, like, I don't get me wrong. I mean, like, I love the Mandalorian series. I've rewatched all 3 seasons of the Mandalorian like over and over countless times.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I don't get the dislike of Obi-Wan, the Kenobi one, because I think I've watched Kenobi like 4 or 5 times now, all the way through. And to me, every time I watch it, it just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy it more on every rewatch.
There was
there's a couple of clunky scenes. I
that's
mean, like
just it. There's just some clunkiness and some inconsistency.
when Leia tries to run away, I mean, that's ridiculous because she's not even
putting
running.
her under the
She's
trench coat was just silly. But
she's just walking fast. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things where it's like, well, she couldn't get to speed and run because she was in that volume thing. You know what I mean?
But also, like, you have the scene where she's in the trench coat, but just a few minutes before that, you're seeing one of the greatest scenes ever when Obi-Wan creeps in from the below, and he sees all those former Jedi Masters in that. That material. It was like so great, and then they follow that up with sneaking her out under the trench coat.
But what I was going to say about it was that in every single one of these previous shows, like even the Mandalorian with having 3 seasons, there are threads that they dropped in season 1 that they never picked up on.
Yeah.
And there's still threads in season 2, and especially in season 3, and then there's threads in Book of Boba Fett, there's threads in Obi-Wan that they laid the groundwork for explaining these things, but never went back to any of it. And I'm getting a little bit frustrated with all these loose threads that I'm like, am I ever going to see the answer to that at the end of that?
Probably not.
Which brings us back to the Squadron show, because there's so many threads that lead to that Squadron show that were left in Mandalorian season 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Carson Teva and things like that. He's like, well, there's something going on in the Outer Rim that we got to just, figure out.
And you see him talking to Zed.
Yeah.
But then Zed's not in the next series, which was his whole crew.
So, yeah, exactly. And it's like
Zed's dead, baby. Zed's
it's
dead.
Just there's a lot that can be worked with in future shows, and
Rick ran down the street and bought a new computer.
Yeah, I hope that they eventually tie all these things up.
Still not working. You guys can see me, right? Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can.
Cool. Yeah, I'm just doing this for my phone because my computer is broken.
Uh-oh.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So I think we've done longer explaining the show. You can watch the show in less time. It's only
Yes,
30.
you're probably
Yeah,
on your second watch through right now.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this episode. If I gave last week a 7.5, I'm gonna have to give this week also a 7.5. And I really think after seeing these 2 episodes now, after 2 weeks, they should have just been combined to one episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if the whole series was 1 episode shorter, these 2 last weeks together would have made for a great hour of content.
Definitely,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
definitely.
Yeah.
So if they want to contact me for my editing skills and my knowledge of storytelling, I'll answer my phone. I'll return their calls.
I want to know what mixture they use to get this show right. I mean, I have no complaints about this show. I love it. And all the other shows, there were so many things I could pick apart, and those inconsistencies that John was talking about, and little things that would frustrate you. And this show is just a great, fun adventure. I'm taking it for what it is, and it's just great. And I
Yeah.
want to know, like, who are the people you put in the room to set that up that you couldn't do that for the other shows, because they all would have been just as good if you could have done that. So hopefully this group, maybe that's just what it took to get to this, was just trying and trying. And now going
I
forward.
just think some of the other shows had agendas outside of
Oh,
storytelling.
definitely.
And
That's
this one,
definitely part of it. And I like the guys making this series. I would like to see them involved again.
For sure, man.
Because
For
they
sure.
talk about how they're like reflecting on, I'm about to enter back in the computer here, so there might be 2 of me.
He's going to enter into the whole secondary hull of the computer. I told you not to press that button, Rick. He pressed it. He wasn't supposed to press that button. The secondary hull came off.
Won't let me leave.
Just like a woman. Won't let you leave.
All right, let's try that. Oh, fuck off, man. Wait, I can remove myself.
Now there's 2 of them.
oh jeez.
Add. Subtract. I had to do math.
Oh no. He fixed it.
Is that your puppet talking?
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, hey.
He fixed it.
This is the part of the show where we.
Whoa. That furry fella.
Nothing but the finest, furriest fellows for me.
This
Now
is what
John's
I
got to pull out a plushie or something.
This is what I got
Pull something out
nearby.
of his beard.
Oh, look, there's a hammerhead in my beard.
No, I have
Who needs a cat when you have a beard?
I have an army of droids.
There you go.
Nice.
Oh, didn't they have one of those on the table a couple episodes ago?
Was it?
Yeah, very similar. CX3 droid or
Yeah. I'm a 280ZX.
They all got their silver eyes. Their black has been worn away to
Yeah.
nothingness.
Yeah, I agree. Prophet, great directors. And yeah, Zed is dead. I don't know if you caught that.
You think so?
This one's not
You
bad.
think he bit the big one?
No, Zeb, like the big creature from Ahsoka.
Yeah.
No, he lives.
Yeah, he's not.
He's
dead.
hanging out in the pub with Karts and Tiva.
Yep.
So yeah, same time next week, kids.
Yep. Same bat
Yeah.
channel, same bat time.
Same, and maybe next week let's talk like a pirate week.
Arr.
It has to be a very heavy pirate episode for us to go to those extremes, because it would be hard on our throats.
I will go out on a limb to say that by the end of the next episode, whatever takes place in the episode, Jod will be back on top of that crew. They will be following him again. That's all I know. That's all I
There
know.
will be pirates
Something will happen.
here.
Something will take place, and he will win them back over.
Yeah, so you can make pirates out of those 3 figures right there, John.
There will be pirates here. Arr.
The more pirates, the better.
Jod still has like a lot of support in that group because the one woman said, let him talk before you kill him. And then the other two, he apologized to the one woman and she said, all right, I'll listen. And then it seemed like when Urkel was taking him away with her at the end, I think they were going to say, all right, just play it with us. And we'll
it does seem like he has a little bit of the crew on his side.
And it's like he can almost win Brutus back over too, because he said he's a great first mate, which would make him feel better because Smee was the first mate, right? So he would be like,
okay,
shit, I can still be the first mate.
From a droid,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he ends up being like, if Jod ends up being Captain Silvo again at the end of the series, and him and the Smee and Brutus,
there's always a bigger fish.
Become a new pirate crew. But I bet Smee.
There'll be a bigger threat right away next week.
I can see Smee with the kids somehow for some reason.
Urkel will say, "Did I blast that?
Did I do that? Yeah."
But yeah, good short episode. Maybe next week it'll be 5 minutes longer.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch it for the 4th time.
Yeah, because you can watch it like in a couple minutes.
Yep.
I was
and watch it with the subtitles. You catch little things that you might.
I like that guy's hair.
I always liked this guy. He was cool.
He does his hair really well.
Like a space ball.
Space bro.
DSC, Death Squad Commander.
Yeah.
And he has to be British.
Yeah, and they have to fly the Millennium Falcon.
The Falcon.
They call it the Falcon.
It's okay. I'm okay with that because there's different dialects in Space War.
Vader and Han Solo both called it that the first half of A New Hope. And then by the end of the movie, they called it the Falcon. I loved it. They had 2 names.
Let's call it Mass Ship.
That's right. The Onyx Cinder will save the day next week.
Man, we're gonna hopefully we get a better look at it next week.
Yeah.
Unless the kids crash it or it gets, kidnapped by pirates
or parrots.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to it. So thanks everyone for joining us live in the chat. Watching this live is good for your health. It promotes like hair growth and
I need that.
It will get rid of like certain cancers and skin ailments. But you have to watch it live for those to work. If you watch it replay, you might actually like lose hair. But no, it's all good, man. Thank you guys all for being here, all you guys and girls. Mr. B, Prophet, Skyboy, Muzza, Shane.
Muzza.
I think Orlando was in there earlier.
Yeah, Ricardo.
Mr. B, Ricardo, Beast Slayer. Anyone with the name Beast Slayer is okay by me.
Right.
Sticks boy.
Sticks. Yeah, it helps if you guys leave a comment in the video after this airs.
And one of these.
Yeah, at least one of these.
One of these while you're at it.
And if you don't, Shmee's coming to get you.
Left coast is the best coast.